Alright, we are back on gaming, and I have to say this right now. Ever since the previous gaming video I did and seen the news that have come out since then, I don't understand how this community is still together. I don't understand. It's not just the community, it's also the industry as well. Now, I know that, in the previous couple of weeks, I have started with GamerGate and everything and, put EA as a second. But this week, I'm starting off with EA and their bullshit. That's right. For those who don't understand what's been going on, EA has joined the White House. And I'm going to put this in here, alright, to show you. EA has decided that they want to push this agenda where they want gamers to sign an anti-rape pledge. That's right, EA, you just can't shut up from week to week, can you? Matter of fact, I'll show you. This is what they put on their Twitter. Every week, have you noticed, EA always has something, they do something so stupid. Okay, and I put it like this. Like I said, I'll put the link in the info bar. This is from the White House. They had this pledge. They decided to make this pledge. And EA decided to push it and say, it's on all of us. No. Do you understand the implications here, EA, and the White House in general? Do you understand the implications that you're saying? You're saying that majority of males or females, because yes, females rape males too. Let's not get it twisted here. If you don't believe me, there was 2 women not too long ago who held a man up at gunpoint and forced him to have sex with them. So rape does happen against males as well. However, I will say this. When you do something like that, you are implying that majority of the public is okay with rape. That's what you're doing. You're also implying, and this is what pisses me off about EA, alright? Because it shouldn't have gone this far. If you have to get people to sign a pledge that says, I will not rape, then there is a problem. You are also saying that people who don't sign this pledge are for rape. Do you understand that? So if I don't sign this, then obviously I'm a rapist. That's stupid. It is disgusting. I put it like this. When you insult your consumer base, because that's what they're doing. They jumped on this White House pledge and said, okay, it's all on us. It's not all on us. Don't sit here and say that. Hashtag all on it. No. Sorry. EA, once again, morals though. Morals though, EA. This is what you're going to play. If you cared that much, EA, about this situation, since you have a ton of money, we've seen you spend millions upon millions on advertising for Battlefield, for Medal of Honor. If you're feeling really this strong about this problem, then you should be holding some type of event, right? You should be holding some type of charity fund, right? No, you're not? No, you're not. You're just saying this on Twitter, and they spread through Dragon Age, The Sims, all these, places that have big fan bases. If you cared that much, EA, you would put in more effort other than sign this. You gotta be kidding me. This is easily, they're trying to take advantage of the situation. That's what it is. They want to come off as looking like the good guy when actually this makes things worse. I can't believe that we are in a time now where you have to go to gamers and say, sign this. Because if you don't, then you're going to look bad. That's just unbelievable. And yet for some reason, people are like, this is great. Look, the idea behind it is great. The execution behind it is piss poor. It is. Okay? Rape is not right at all. We all know this. People who have a brain know this. But we shouldn't have to sign something that says, I'm against it. Common sense would tell you to be against it. You're forcing somebody upon the world. It's something they don't want to do. It's something you don't do. That's ridiculous. And for them to have to make a pledge, and like I said, it's not just EA. Even though EA is a part, they're pushing it, alright? But it's also the White House. They should be ashamed of themselves for this one. But I have more on that, okay? I want to talk about Mighty Number 9. That's right. For those who don't know, now we're going to roll in to GamerGate for a minute, because I have some information that needs to be said. Mighty Number 9, for those who don't know, fans are being banned from Mighty Number 9. That's right. Simply because they support GamerGate. That's right. They're just being banned, alright? And I'll put it like this. The community manager, Dina, is banning people. And if you don't believe me, it's not just people just acting the fool and everything. No. Nobody's acting the fool. I'll talk about that in a minute, alright? These are people who actually backed the game. So you're banning people who literally put hundreds of dollars into this project to make sure it got off the ground. Mind you, people, for those who don't remember, the Mighty Number 9, when it first started on their Kickstarter, they only wanted, $65,000 or something like that, and it made over $3 million. because it was playing off the nostalgia factor of Mega Man fans, since Capcom wasn't giving Mega Man fans what they wanted. And Inafune saw that and played up your nostalgia factor, and I'm going to talk about Inafune in a minute, alright? But understand that this is what he did, and it became a big success. It looked like it was going great. But this girl, Dina, for those who don't know her backstory, okay, I will put the link in the info bar to the video for the Dina disaster. This girl has a lot of nerve to come out and start doing this, since she's the community manager, alright? Once again, we're having this problem where people like to sleep their way to the top. To sleep their way into the company. To sleep their way and have influence on what goes on. Once again, her friends and her boyfriend worked on the project. She slid in and was like, oh, this needs to be changed, and we need to have different character designs. And all of a sudden, she was hired. And people started questioning it, saying, there are better artists out there who did better character designs than you. Why did you get put on the project? Now we know why. We're seeing this way too much as of late, where people have to sleep their way, and that's the one thing I see a lot, alright? We're seeing this strong, independent woman talk, yet when you find out the truth, everyone sleeping with each other gets to the top. Now, I don't understand it. And it's not just women either at this point. Men are doing it too. So let's not just make this a thing about women, okay? But understand that this is something that is becoming very infectious. I should say it's an epidemic at this point in the community. And I say the community because it directly impacts us. That's why. This girl went on to say that Mega Man X is the best Mega Man ever. Then you found out on Twitter she admitted that she didn't even play Mega Man. Who the hell is she to say anything then? She doesn't have any qualifications. But you're going to mess with someone's nostalgia factor, severe fan base? I should just say rabid fan base at this point, since Capcom hasn't given us what we wanted in a long time. Okay? But you're going to sit here and you're going to say, this person needs to be changed and this should be female. And now that we know that you have direct influence into the company and that you slept your way into the company, you're going to sit here and have the audacity to try and ban people because of their belief in GamerGate? Are you serious? This is going beyond what it should, okay? And I'm shocked that no one has been fired yet. And like I said, I'm going to talk about Inafune in a minute. But when people were banned, that's right, they asked, what's going on? Why did you do this? This was your community manager, Dina. This was her response to those bans. Yeah, that's very professional, community manager. Very professional. And I'll put it like this, because when after that happened, Inafune was contacted by a number of people who backed the project. And they wanted their money back, because that's absolutely ridiculous that something like that is going to happen. What did Inafune say? I'll put the link in the info bar. He's not giving refunds. No, not at all. He's just like, hey, you deal with it. We got your money, that's it. As far as I'm concerned, people, go get your money back. If he's not going to give you your money back, then guess what? Call your credit card company. That's how I feel. As far as I'm concerned, at this point, I'm officially dropping support for Mighty Number 9. I was looking forward to that too. But you know what also? People who decide that they still want to play it, this is how you get people to pirate. When you do things like this. People are still going to play the game, but they don't want to pay for it because of what's happened. They don't want to support you. They're going to end up pirating it. It is a shame that this is the route that you're taking. We got your money, that's it. We're not going to correct things on our end, even though she is really damaging the project. Or is it the fact that you think that gamers are going to have short, pretty much short memory? Oh, this happened, but we should just forgive that and keep going. This happened, but that's not a big deal. I just want to play the game. Is that what you're banking on, Inafune? You know what? Kamiya was right. You aren't really that much of a creator. You're more of a businessman. You learned that from Capcom, and we're seeing it now. We should have listened. We should have. But there's more to this. That's right. Because after everything, like I said, I'll put the link in the info bar, Inafune, where Comcept says they're not going to give refunds. Like I said, there's more to this. Because then afterwards, we had to see Dina, who tried to play the victim. Oh, you're going to say it's just nepotism. And gamers are like, no, this is bigger than it. The fact is, you support a known abuser. That's right. And they're talking about Zoe Quinn. It's funny how they, everything just links back to Zoe Quinn, if you haven't noticed. And here's the thing, the news about Zoe. She got to the point where she had to go to Cracked. That's right, over at Cracked, and write an article talking about how she's the most hated person on the internet. First off, you're giving yourself way too much credit, alright? Because most of the internet doesn't know who you are. You may be the most hated person in gaming, and I can't even say in gaming because there's a lot of gamers, as we see, who don't care about the issue, okay? So you're not the most hated person, you know, even in that. But you're going to sit here and say you're the most hated person on the internet. You're giving yourself way too much credit. You know what? You're enjoying this a little bit too much as far as I'm concerned. You need to make waves so that it keeps you relevant. It's pathetic, Zoe Quinn. Should be ashamed of yourself. You're already a parasite as it is, alright? And it's not just her. It's people like her who take advantage of others, who break people like that, and like it's nothing to it. You know? Who just ruin lives in the blink of an eye. Nothing to it. Who will use people. I've said this before. If you use people in your personal life like that, you have no problem using people in your professional life as well. And we are seeing this more and more without any type of remorse. That is a parasite. Whether you like that or not. That's the type of person she is. Like I said, men do it too. So they're the same way. Every individual who does this is a parasite. That's simple. That's how I see things. Doesn't matter what they look like. Doesn't matter what gender. Doesn't matter what race. None of it matters. If that's your intentions, if that's how your mind works, if that's how fucked up you really are, then you're a parasite. Now I'm going to move on because we have more news about this whole situation. That's right. For those who don't know, Randy Pitchford came out and said he doesn't see, the transparency that people want. He thinks that the media is fine the way it is because they bagged on alien colonial marines. Even though it's right in his face, Internet Aristocrat and him had a nice talk about it. And Randy Pitchford, as we know, he can't be trusted after aliens colonial marines. Alright, I understand some of you like Borderlands, but he sees nothing wrong. I will put the link in the info bar. That's right, about this. So you can see exactly what they said towards each other, okay? Also, Todd Johnson. I gotta talk about this, alright? A female comes out and says that she supports GamerGate. She's talking to Todd Johnson, alright? And he accuses her of being a white male because he says that she talks like a white dude. So what does she do? And I'll put the link in the info bar. She takes a picture of herself on a whiteboard, alright, saying, Todd Johnson, I support GamerGate. Do I look like this is ridiculous. If this is this what it comes to? And here's the thing, Todd Johnson, I want to know, because I want someone to tell me, how do you talk like a white dude? I want to know. First off, it's self-hating on his part. It's racist to begin with, alright? But to say something like that as a fallback, as to, that's why I shouldn't listen to you, is ridiculous. I want to know, what is the difference between talking black and talking white? Via Twitter. Is it because you can have a different spelling of words? Is it the way you form your words? If I use slang, does that mean I'm talking black? What does it mean? I would like to know. And of course, when she did that, he shut down his Twitter. Because you look like a damn idiot. But if this is your only back, your only stance to degrade somebody, then you're already wrong. It's that simple. But I would love to know this. Because, if everything is about getting better, getting stronger, getting smarter, being more articulate, what is talking white? I want someone to explain this to me. It's absolutely ridiculous that another white guy is saying this. It's kind of disgusting, actually. Like I said, self-hating at its finest. It really is. Like I said, I'll put the link in the info bar. That's not all. No. For those who don't know, Anita Sarkeesian, alright, and many other feminists at these points, they are doing a lot of conferences, a lot of, get-togethers and having these talks, and, of course you give money and all these type of things. What we saw not too long ago with Trust and Believe is absolutely disgusting, alright? And it's almost looking very cultish at this point. For those who did not see the pictures of, over the couple of days of what's happened with seminars, this is what it looked like where they were at. That's right, where they were actually at when they had this seminar, which is, it's kind of scary to see that this is the surroundings that they're using at this point. What is that, like an abandoned warehouse or a steel mill or something? Look, and here's the thing. These type of conferences, they're not even conferences, alright? Presentations in dirt and fold-up chairs with the basic PowerPoint presentation. Let's get something straight here. Any 12-year-old at this point can do that type of presentation. And it's sad because the words on the screen, you can just forget about your past and trust and believe. Let me tell you something about trust and believe, especially here on the internet. Do not trust and believe anything that you hear or see unless you think that the information convinces you. Any presentation can do this and try and sell you something. It's been done for a very long time. But don't tell me that these presentations are about equality. Because they're not. Because if this was about equality and you're, knowing your, getting to know your, fellow man or woman, you would have a balanced thing. This wouldn't be attacking one another or degrading another gender so that another gender gets built up. That's not what this would be about. But that's all we keep hearing. It's amazing how gamers want transparency in journalism, and that's all we're talking about, transparency in journalism. And for some reason they think that this is an attack on all females. Oh, I forgot. It's not all females. It's an attack on white males from white females. Because they feel as though they need to be represented more. It needs to be more diverse. It's funny because when the chart came out not too long ago and we saw diversity, somewhat diversity of, the gaming media, looked pretty bright to me. And what I mean by bright, I do mean white. So I want to know, where's the diversity here? A lot of white females, a lot of white males. Didn't see many black people, didn't see many people of color or minority, and as we would say, didn't see many spades in a bunch. But diversity though. Morals though. You know what, let's talk about morals right now, okay? Because for every social justice warrior that talks about morals and you shouldn't harass women, and you shouldn't harass women, just like you shouldn't harass men. But it happens, doesn't it? Because it's the internet. But since you want to play this, role of being higher standard of things, check this out. And the link will be in the info bar, okay? A social justice warrior hires a rapist. That's right. Hires a rapist to stalk and torment an ex-girlfriend. Morals, though. Link will be in the info bar. I get real tired of seeing these type of things and this type of hypocrisy that we are seeing as of late. And like I said, it does affect our community. Because these are the people that are in business. These are our journalists. These are their supporters. It's amazing how I can sit here and do these videos and give you this information, and yet you'll still have people say, I don't care, or you're stupid, and things. Don't you understand that if the immaturity that you're showing, that you are projecting, helps them? It does. And I will say this as well, alright? Because Miss Sommers, for those who don't know, Christina Sommers came out with a video not too long ago. And she talked about sexism and gaming. And she made a 6-minute video, I'll put the link in the info bar, 6-minute video, and pretty much saying, with some pretty good facts, saying, no, there's no sexism in gaming. It may be catered towards boys or men or whatever, but there's no actual sexism in gaming. Because when you get down to the actual community, the community is for equality. The community, like I said, back in the arcade days, all you saw was men and women playing with each other. People of all types of walks of life playing games with each other. It wasn't about this type of divider, who's at the top. Unless it was a competition standpoint, but no, that was it. Okay? However, after this video, a lot happened. Bad things happened. And Anita Sarkeesian was called out in the video, okay? And what was Anita Sarkeesian's response? You want to know what her response was to a logical video with information? She decided to plug an auto-tune song of the woman's video. That's right. Here's her tweet promoting it. Now, before anyone says, well, Event, just because she's promoting it doesn't mean she had a hand in it. It was actually Drew Wario's friend, the late Drew Wario, his friend who did the video, right? However, here's some more information for you, which will be in the info bar, where he admits that Anita Sarkeesian, she coordinated this. That's right. He met up with her and her boyfriend, and he didn't know how to go about it. He just thought it was a funny idea, and she did pretty much all the legwork in this. I will put the link in the info bar. So instead of having an intelligent response, since this is a serious issue, right? This is a big issue that we should be taking seriously, and we shouldn't be calling each other names and things of that nature, because that's what you keep saying, Anita Sarkeesian. You're going to tell me somebody of qualification speaks about this issue, and this is what you do as a response. No debate, no anything. You do realize, Anita Sarkeesian, that people who said every time someone challenges you to a debate and you run away, this gives them leverage. I don't understand how you could do something like this and still have followers. This goes to show you that you are just as immature as those you claim others debate. I don't understand why you just didn't make a direct response video. You know, statement for statement. Instead, you decided to make fun of her. And here's the thing. When she did that, Kotaku made 3 different articles attacking Miss Sommers. That's right. Same thing. Polygon as well. They were plugging the auto-tune video. Nah, this is funny. And Miss Sommers responded to that in one tweet because when Kotaku was attacking Miss Sommers, they spelled her name 3 times wrong. That's right. And she responded with this tweet. Now right there, that is the appropriate response to call them on their, so-called professional journalism. Because that's professional, right? That's mature, right? Yet people will still support them. Why is this? I don't understand. Because when I said, stay away from all these things, this is what we should do. Stay away from what, 10, 12 sites on the entire internet? People lost their mind and started calling me a bunch of names. Because, it's hard to stay away from 10 to 12 sites, Why would you support journalists or these sites when they're acting this way? I'm just wondering. That's not the transparency you want, right? And everyone says that they're going to boycott, but yet their clicks haven't changed. They're still doing the same thing. They haven't learned anything. While their reputation is getting bad, it seems to have drawn some more people, maybe more idiots, to go over there. So until they change their ways, like I said, stay away from it. It's not that hard. I mean, like I said, I can't really tell you what to do. But when you're seeing this information, you have to ask, why would you support it? Why? Because they have gaming news. Matter of fact, they have more than gaming news, but because that's what they do. You can get that anywhere. Like I said, the internet is vast and infinite. Why would you think that those couple of sites hold the key to everything? Why would you think that? Let's move on, man. For those who don't know, alright? Because after that, SJW started invading, I should say, because that's what I want to call it at this point. Invading developers. Oculus. That's right, we're going to talk about this. A woman goes to their conference and asks them about, why are females being represented more, and is quickly shut down with this statement. So let's watch the video real quick on exactly how they respond to her.
What is Oculus's approach to their clear gender gap, and how you're going to not port that into VR?
We are having a hard time hiring all the people that we want. It doesn't matter what they look like.
Yeah.
And just like that, shut down. Now, for anyone who says, oh, it's money, but they're pouring all this money into, their system, but they can't, get, manpower or woman power or whatever power to, to represent the product. It's interesting that people would say that, because let's take a dive in that right now, exactly how the business works, and actually go by the numbers on who gets paid and who doesn't. That's right, and who is on the lower bottom of that ladder, as opposed to who's raking in pretty much most of the money that should go to your product. The average overall compensation of American game developers was $83,060. The average annual salary for a solo indie game maker is $11,812, down a whopping 4% from last year. But if you were part of a crew of indies, things were better with an average of $50,833. Programmers earned the most cash, pulling down an average of $93,251 a year. Artists and animators get about $74,349, while producers and game designers were paid $82,286 and $73,864 respectively. A fuller breakdown, remember these averages, okay? Programmers, $93,251. Artists and animators, $74,349. Game designers, $73,864. Producers, $82,286. Quality assurance, $54,833. Audio, $95,682. And the biggest one of them all, business and management. That's right, people who's not really even working on the project. Business and management, $101,572. I can see right now that this is the biggest problem we face in the industry, or I should say in our community, when we see developers constantly laid off. This is a big problem. Matter of fact, if you don't believe me, you can go back and look at everything that happened with THQ. And this is sometimes why you have gamers who get mad at products because they don't exceed the hype that's been millions and millions, thrown in advertising when it could have went into the game. Why are businessmen who have really nothing to do with actually making the game, why are they getting paid so much? Why is it that when, employees get laid off, CEOs and everything, they get double their pay? This is something that has to change within the industry. And it seems like people are just going to say, that's just the way it is. No, it needs to change. Because the people who are actually working hard for your development, for your games, mind you, they also go through a number of problems themselves. It's, not just long hours, but also with their families. We've seen a number of developers lose their families over this, over making video games because of how these companies push them. This is something that they need help on. Now, my suggestion, if this is really a gender problem with Oculus, I think you need to start, having these things where, hey, if you're fans of the product enough, why don't you come on in and do it for free? If you really want it so badly, why don't you do it for free? Because it's the only way it's going to get done right now, because most of the money is going into the wrong pockets instead of actually where it should go. This is a completely different subject altogether. But if you're going to come out, and pull that card where it's a clear gender gap, and then get destroyed in simply pretty much one sentence, you've got to be kidding me if you haven't done your research to go up there and ask such a question. And the fact is, people are clapping. Oh, let's give her credit for asking a dumb question, instead of her doing her research first, or a follow-up, in that question. Apparently there was no follow-up, but you have to understand, you should be doing research first before you decide to ask a question. You understand that this is what happens from time to time. You ever have those people say, I get tired of answering the same question? Yes, because people don't do their research before asking questions. This is why. This is something that should be taken care of sooner rather than later. Like I said, this dialogue, this could open up, and this is what I love about it. Because she asked that, not because of course we know her agenda is about a gender thing and keep this going, but it actually opens up more conversation that she didn't know on the industry itself. That's where the conversation should come from. That was the starting point. Now we need to have a jump off from it. Seriously. This is what it came to. He came out and he opened that box. Okay, let's dive in and see what else is in there. But it seems like people have not asked that. And I don't know why. People say they love this industry, but I don't see the right questions being asked. It just upsets me to see these things. Speaking of more money, we're going to talk about more money right now. YouTube is going through a lot more money at original Comcept partners. That's right. For those who don't know, they are going to give people, studio time and things of that nature. They have clearer recordings. Yeah. They said they want to turn it into TV. So like I said before, your average YouTuber who's getting big and has, all these type of things, it's all reality TV. They're low-tier reality stars. That's what this is right now. I don't understand the whole fame issue. I really don't get where people say, hey, I got X amount of followers, thus I'm better than you. I still don't understand that. I don't. But whatever. Let's move on. More games, alright? Bioshock Infinite Complete Edition has been confirmed. So if you were waiting for Bioshock Infinite, now it's coming out. For 360, the PS3, the PC, yeah, it's coming out. So if you waited, congratulations. You knew it was coming. Alright? Gotta talk about this. Final Fantasy VII Remake depends on Final Fantasy G-Bike success. Square, you know you're lying. They've been dancing around this for a very long time about Final Fantasy VII Remake and you should buy this, or just trying to get you to buy other products if they're going to make this remake. The fact is, and we've said this before, alright, Square is scared to make a remake. Because they know they will not be able to live up to the hype of the fan base. They know regardless how this goes, if they make it or not, people are going to be upset. They know this. But to try and get people to buy other games if they want that remake, which they've been asking for years upon years, is ridiculous. If you want to get G-Bike, go ahead, alright? But if you think that if you buy this game, it is going to change the tide in this whole, to put them off the fence and onto one side, that they're going to, make Final Fantasy VII, you're crazy. They're not going to. They're scared. They would have did this a long time ago if that was the case. Because they know the fan response. Been way too long now. I don't believe anything Square says on that. Now, I want to move on. Talk about some more news, though. Some positive news. Clock Tower, that's right, is getting a spiritual successor. And I'm looking forward to it, alright? Called Project Scissors. We shall see what's going to come from this. I'm really hoping that they stick with the point-and-click aspect. I really hope they do. Because if not, it's not going to give you that nostalgia factor. It's what makes people excited for Clock Tower. It's just not, alright? And as far as I'm concerned, even if you wanted to, nothing has to be so, how can I put this, mainstream horror. Because that's not what made Clock Tower fun. It was the over-cheesiness of that slasher-type flick that made it fun. Nothing has to be set the, atmosphere where you have that dark and decrepit and so dark and it's so scary. You got to put on a flashlight. No, you don't need all that. You don't. Just do it basic. Seriously, that's what made it so great. That's why it has such a following. Let's move on. I want to talk about Hyrule Warriors. That's right. It is getting 4 DLC packs and a Dark Link costume if you buy the $20 season pass. There have been so many season passes. I don't understand what the companies are doing now. If they think this is the way to go, and we said this before, stop buying season passes because other companies are going to catch on, and now damn near every game has a season pass. This is ridiculous. It is. Racing games now have season passes. Sandbox games. We've seen all types of games have, and actually in the previous 3 weeks or so, about 4 or 5 games have had season passes. It's ridiculous. But yet, everyone will say, well, it's optional, it's optional. You're still not getting all your game. You're still not. Have we not seen this already? Aliens Isolation. It's got 6 months of DLC coming. They're going to hit you with a season pass. Whatever. Anyways, in other news, Silent Hill. That's right. The new Silent Hills that are coming out, it's going to be just like Resident Evil Revelations 2. It's going to be released episodically. That's right. It seems like that's the thing to do now when it comes to horror games. Everyone's following The Walking Dead from Telltale Games. It seems that's what people want to do. Or other games as well that do this, small indie, digital games, they do these type of things. But as we know, Capcom has the money and Konami has the money. Why would you do this? I don't understand. I'll just wait until... Oh, wait. I'm not going to wait. Because you're only bringing it out for the PS4. Kojima already said this was going to come out for PS4. How about you do one thing at a time? How about that? Why don't you make the PS3 fan base and 360 fan base, of course, I don't know if it's going to be, exclusive, but you should make the fan bases of those, install bases happy. You'll sell more. You should work on that before you decide, we're going to make it episodically. You really should, Konami. And I know Kojima can make it happen because pretty much anything he says, Konami bows down to. Damn near. He says he wants to work on something, you're going to let him work on it. He wanted to work on Castlevania, you let him work on Castlevania to a point, right? He wants to work on Silent Hill, all you did was mention, I would like to do Silent Hill. And you gave him Silent Hill. So, he has the power to make a change. Just saying. You should do that. Anyways, last thing. We talked about Xenosaga HD last week. Did we not? Alright, so I want to put it this way. There's a petition now that is going around for Xenosaga. Because like I said, Namco said, tell your friends and tell everyone that who wants the Xenosaga HD collection. There's a petition now for Xenosaga HD. I believe it's trying to reach 5,000. It is over 3,000 signatures so far. So it goes to show you that this is something that people are taking very seriously. Whether you like the game or not, of course, don't buy it, don't support it then. But for fans who are looking forward to this, it seems like this is the message that everyone is trying to send. So just to let you know, this is something that people are taking very seriously. I'm done. Understand? I don't need this. I don't need a screen. It's seeing this news. It's kind of depressing, but I still have to question. Where do we go from here? Why are these people still supported? Why are these companies acting the way they do? You've noticed a lot of these companies are getting, I won't say getting away with murder, but because of this whole GamerGate thing, a lot of things are being pushed, pretty much pushed down. It's flying under the radar. A lot of bad things, the companies are getting away with, especially with EA. Alright? A lot of things they're doing with FIFA, I don't get it. I really don't. No way should EA Access be, as far as I'm concerned, should still be this, this relevant. It shouldn't. Because as you know, Activision has come out and said, if that's successful, then we're going to do that. Then other companies came out and said, if that's successful, we'll do it too. You have to look at the leader of things first. And I understand that a lot of us don't like EA. I personally don't like their practices. But understand they do have influence. We've seen that for the previous at least 5 years. They have major influence. And if it goes well with them, people are going to follow. If you don't want it to follow and it become the norm, then you pretty much got to let them know. You got to let people like EA know, look, we're not going to stand for this. This is supposed to be about you, the consumer, pro-consumer. And when they shoot you down or call you a bunch of names and everything, you know what it tells you? They're anti-consumer. Why? Because they're in the business. Don't let that happen. Seriously. Without you, they cannot do anything. Without the viewers, without the clicks, the journalists don't get paid. Without the consumers buying the products, the companies don't get paid. It all starts with you, but they make you feel as though you're at the bottom of the barrel. There's strength in numbers. You have to keep reminding yourself that. It's all about getting everyone together. Have you ever asked yet, how is it that the gaming industry, people who are working on games, how they can stay connected, they can stay together in one cause and focus? You ever asked how developers can do the same thing? Have you ever asked how the gaming journalists are all together pretty much in one focus? However, the people who are not focused or are together are the gamers. They're always at each other's throats. They spent a long time doing it and making sure that you stay at each other's throats. I don't like this game. Well, I do. Well, let's fight about it. Really? Understand, man. It takes gamers, it takes consumers to come together. And now that we're seeing a little bit of it, and I say a little bit when it comes to GamerGate, because there's way too many people who still either don't know or don't care. But that little bit has already sparked this, how can I put this? I don't want to say chaos. I don't want to say that. Alright? It's very eventful what's going on. However, we're 5 weeks in now? And already, believe it or not, 5 weeks in, I'm tired of it. Because nothing has changed. Like I said, the journalists are still doing what they do. You still have some gamer running around cursing people out. Nothing's changed. How is our community and the industry overall supposed to get better if the people who are higher up don't want it to get better themselves?